Good morning. I brought the video inside today, inside our grade 2 listed cottage. She's a long straw thatch cottage, circa 16th century. So just to give you an idea of how long ago that was, Henry VIII had just married Anne Boleyn when this cottage was being constructed. The timber frame cottage has some brick infills from the Victorian eras, but was built as a single story dwelling house with attached stable. It had a small hay attic with cob walls, so wattle and daub I think you'll find they're called. It's now 2-story with a tiny weeny attic which it's really hard to get into, and it has eyebrow windows for the second floor with 4-pane casement windows. The key thing that you can see here is the back of the chimney. This is now brick. This would have been wattle and daub, but you can imagine, and probably open originally, and then it was wattle and daub, but you can imagine that being a massive fire risk. The key thing here as well is that you can see one of the main beams that support what would have been the attic, which is now the second floor. All the woodworm has been treated. It has a 20-year treatment on it, but these beams are all original to the cottage. That's a Stanley range that provides all our heating and hot water and cooking. When we come through here, so we've now walked through, well, there wasn't a doorway there originally, so the beam at the bottom has been cut to allow us to walk through. The floor is slate and from fired earth, and again we can see this main beam which will go through and takes the weight of the second floor, which was again originally the hay attic. We turn to this wall. So this wall has still got its wattle and daub, but it has got the Victorian brick infills here, which part of its listing means it has to keep the modifications that were done in the past. We've got a new oak beam here, beautifully done, and this is going across the front of the cottage and locks in with some of the original oak beams. Double glazed casement window. When this cottage was done up in the 80s, it didn't have any windows. They'd long gone. So they had ones put in, UPVC ones put in, and then these were replaced by the previous owners. So these beautiful casement windows, but they are double glazed wooden. So underneath the cottage is a stone plinth, which is still intact. Then there was overlaid a brick plinth which had crumbled. That has been removed, so effectively the whole cottage was jacked up to allow new bricks in and a new oak sill. And that's what this is. This beam here is a brand new oak sill that all of the oak beams, the original oak beams, lock onto. You can see how much the cottage has moved. I don't know if you can actually on this doorway. I'll try and shut the door. So all the doors had to be replaced because none of the doors would fit, because all the doorways have now moved slightly. For today we'll just stick with this wall. So new brickwork in the ingle nook, but going back to the back of the ingle nook we have got the original brickwork from the 16th century and then the Victorian additions on the side, which has made this a much bigger fireplace to heat the house, do the cooking on. It is absolutely huge, open to the top, and as part of the listing we cannot increase the height of the chimney at the moment. So the beam across the front was a beam actually from the roof that has been used to replace the beam from the fireplace. And then just quickly you can see we're continuing the big oak beam with some of its damage through to the sitting room. That will be all for today, and I will give you a view of the sitting room tomorrow.